In 1998, Pokemon took the world by storm when Pokemon Red and Blue came out for the Game Boy. I had Pokemon Yellow, which released a year later. I had so much fun playing it and I just couldn't put it down. When the Game Boy Advance came out a few years later, Nintendo decided to remake the first gen of Pokemon games. In 2004, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green came out for the Game Boy Advance. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are remakes of Pokemon Red and Green. Pokemon Green only came out in Japan. Here in the States, we got Pokemon Blue. Fire Red and Leaf Green is the example of a great remake. It fixed the problems with the first gen. Notable improvements are a bigger bag, so you can hold all the items you want unlike the first game. A better PC, since in the first gen you had to toggle between what box you want your Pokemon you catch to be deposited in. So sometimes when you caught Pokemon they wouldn't even go to your PC, as well as enhanced graphics and other fixed issues. Unfortunately, I didn't get the games as soon as they came out. When I was in the 1st and 2nd grade, I would bring my GBA to school with Pokemon Yellow, hoping that my classmates would think that it's the new Pokemon, so that I could slide right in with the cool kids crowd. Thankfully, in 2008, I would get my first chance to play the games at my friends Nick and Alex's house. Nick and Alex were two brothers who both had their own Game Boy Advance, and they had Pokemon Fire Red for the GBA. I would play it on Alex's special Pikachu Edition GBA. I played it at their house on both their birthdays that year, and the kids at the party were looking over my shoulder to check out the game. With Alex's permission, I started the game from the very beginning. I chose Charmander, of course, because that's the littest Pokemon to choose from. It was so easy making my way through the forest of the game, since I would use Charmander's Ember to burn the hell out of all those bugs. After playing it for maybe 45 minutes every time I would go to their house, I had 3 gym badges. Once Alex saw how much fun I was having, that little asshole decided to stop sharing it with me. He continued where I left off and wouldn't let me play the game anymore. I was so infuriated that I had invested my time into the game and Alex wouldn't let me play anymore. He totally had the right to play from that point on, as if that was all his work, since it was his game. I was 10 years old at this point and Christmas was only a month away. I knew I had to get my own Pokemon game so that I could battle Alex, but my mom had thrown my Game Boy Advance away since I lost a charger for it. So for that Christmas I had asked for a Nintendo DS and Pokemon Leaf Green. That Christmas Eve of 2008, my parents got me a DS and a couple of GBA games, and Pokemon Leaf Green was one of them. When I first played Pokemon Leaf Green, I was already preparing for battle against Alex. I named myself my own name. I named my rival Alex. Me and Alex were close friends, but we were competitive with each other. Even though I wanted Charmander, I knew Alex had one, so I went with Squirtle, since his water type moves are super effective against what would become Alex's Charizard. I set off on my second ever Pokemon quest for the GBA. By this point I knew the beginning of the game like the back of my hand and the front of my penis, since I had already played the first third of the game of Pokemon Fire Red and I had also played Pokemon Yellow. I was catching all the Pokemon so that I could select the right ones for my team. At times I cared more about how much I liked the Pokemon rather than how so the Pokemon would contribute to my team. A few days after that Christmas Eve, I would go on vacation with Nick and Alex. I had brought my DS with me so that I could grind in Pokemon Leaf Green. Alex took note of this and was anxious to get back home to level up his Pokemon. But by the time we got back to Miami, it was too late. I had already surpassed him, and by late February I was getting ready to fight the Elite Four. Soon after, during one of my many sleepovers we would have at each other's house, I was at their house one night. I had brought my copy of Pokemon Leaf Green and popped it into Nick's GBA. Alex already had Pokemon Fire Red in his own GBA. He had been practicing for this very night. He connected the Game Boys via link cable and we battled it out right then and there. It's my 6 Pokemon versus his 6 Pokemon. The battle was close. It was a nail biter for sure. It came down to the last Pokemon, his Charizard versus my Blastoise. This was the moment of truth. I had already planned this scenario in my head about 1,000 times ever since Alex's bitch ass took Pokemon Fire Red from me. In a matter of just 2 turns, I mopped the floor with his Charizard. After this, me and Alex got into an argument about the game, but it was all love at the end of the night. Me and Alex would battle every time I would go over to his house for the next few months, until one night we decided to make a wager. We were gonna have one last battle, and whoever won would get to keep the other dude's copy of Pokemon. We weren't keeping track, but at this point I'd say we were 50-50. So that night we battled one last time and I came out the victor of the 2. I spanked Alex and took his game home with me. Before leaving, I traded his best Pokemon for my worst ones in my copy of Pokemon Leaf Green. Then I restarted his save in Pokemon Fire Red and redid everything all over again. On late nights before school, I would be under the blanket playing Pokemon Fire Red. I also would play the game when I was visiting my mom in the hospital when she was 9 months pregnant and gave birth to my baby sister. I had made a video and uploaded it to YouTube back on October 19th, 2009, 3 weeks before I turned 11. It was me showing off my Pokemon. Even though Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are improvements over the first gen of Pokemon, I still prefer the originals. Although Fire Red and Leaf Green are sensational games, there's something about Pokemon Yellow that's even more addicting than Fire Red. Although the quality of the music was improved, I still prefer the music in Pokemon Yellow. I am by no means taking anything away from the remasters. The remasters are perfect, unlike the Switch remasters. The memories I cherish most about Fire Red and Leaf Green was my rivalry with my childhood friend Alex. When I would bring my copy of Pokemon Yellow to school, I couldn't play with anyone since none of my classmates had that gen of Pokemon. But Alex gave me the chance to experience that in my childhood. We got along great, but when we played video games versus another, we held so much animosity towards each other. For example, when we battled each other in Pokemon, it was such a perfect friendship between me and Alex. I kept my friends close and my rival the closest.